Welcome to the Peloponnese, a region of southern Greece that is absolutely packed with history, natural beauty, amazing Greek hospitality, and some of the best Greek food I've ever had. I spent the majority of this trip in the area around Nafplio because this peninsula is huge, and to explore it all, you'll need at least a week, if not more, considering the driving times between each location. Be sure you're subscribed if you're interested in this region, because I'll be back in May to explore even more. Good morning from the Peloponnese region of Greece. I'm so excited to explore this region for the next couple of days and show you what it's all about. We're going to explore small towns, we're going to taste some wine, some honey, we're going to see the beaches, although it's not quite beach weather at the moment, and we're going to see what Greece is like in December. So let's go. The first stop on my tour of Peloponnese was to the ancient ruins of Mycenae. Included in the ticket is the tomb of Agamemnon, also called the Treasury of Atreus. It was built between 1350 and 1250 BC. After exploring the tomb and having a little bit too much fun making noises to echo inside of the egg-shaped interior, we headed to the Mycenae Museum to see all of the artifacts that have been uncovered in this ancient city. They had everything from statues and jewelry to baby bottles and weapons. And then it was finally time to explore the ancient ruins of this city. Mycenae was one of the main centers of Greek civilization during the second millennium BC. That is why we call the time period in Greek history between 1600 BC and 1100 BC Mycenaean. We walked through Lion's Gate. The two lions' heads were likely made of precious stone and therefore have been pillaged. Then you can follow the path through the remaining walls up to a view back over the valley below. These ruins are so incredible. There's so much history here. I highly recommend when you visit to come with a tour guide. I'll link below to the tour guide that we had while we were here. It was fantastic. After leaving Mycenae, we headed to the region's best winery, Semeli, where we toured the premises, learning about the vines and the grapes that are grown here and the different altitudes that they grow them at. And then we headed to the best part, the wine tasting and the lunch that followed. This place is an absolute must for wine lovers, and as a self-professed beer gal myself, I have to admit, this is some of the best wine I've tasted in a long time, and even convinced me to enjoy the swirling and smelling and sipping. The next morning, it was up bright and early for a long day of traveling around the Peloponnese. The first stop was to the Capsia Caves, one of the most important caves in Greece and one of the most beautiful I have ever seen. There are living stalactites and stalagmites in this cave, as well as plenty of bats, and this jumping bug that keeps the cave clean.
Only jump. Don't worry. Eating only seeds of the bats. No people. No people, of course.
They are the cleaners of the cave.
After leaving the cave, we headed about 30 minutes into the mountains to the town of Vytina. This small village is considered a traditional settlement and has an interesting museum where you can learn quite a lot about the history of the town and see some very cool paraphernalia from daily life here. We are in the town of Vytina, up in the mountains. It's a little bit chillier here than it was elsewhere in Nafplio, but we are about to try some local honey, so let's go. Fir honey in Vytina is recognized and protected by the EU for its authenticity and unique origin. You'll find it all over town, but this spot in particular, which is located just to the right of the main square, is run by a husband and wife, with the husband doing all of the work with the bees and the wife running the shop and giving us all of the delicious samples we could handle.
This, the name's vanilla, not taste vanilla, but it's the color, it's white color inside. This honey, it's about tree, fair, Christmas tree. Okay? I can take 7 years this honey because every June very running here.
After leaving Vytina, we headed to a local farm where I had the opportunity to go horseback riding through the mountains, which was a real highlight of this trip. If you enjoy horseback riding, this is a real treat and can be organized with the tour guide that I used for this trip. I will link the details in the description below. Then it was time for lunch. We headed to what was perhaps my favorite mountain village in the Peloponnese, at least that I've been to so far, called Dimitsana. Lunch was at a family-run restaurant called Teftis Taverna, and it included a local specialty called trajanas, which was perfect for a chilly mountain day. Followed by a feta cheese pie that was topped with honey and sesame seeds, fried to perfection and so crispy, as well as wild boar sausage, which was caught by the brothers who run this restaurant, pork chops in a honey sauce, and finished with a warm walnut cake. That was definitely my favorite meal so far on this trip. It was so good, especially the boar, but also the cheese, like bread pie. It was amazing. Highly recommend getting to this town just to eat at that restaurant. This is not what I would have expected from a Greek town. Obviously, I've only been to a few islands and to Athens, and this is so different. You feel like you're in like an Italian mountain village. It's so beautiful, and we're about to get an amazing view. We finished the day at a nearby open-air museum, which is powered entirely by water, and it used to be home to a grain mill, a tannery, and a gunpowder factory. It also happens to be simply a beautiful spot with views that I will not soon forget. I hope you enjoyed touring around the Peloponnese region with me, a completely new to me region of Greece and one that surprised me so much. It's so beautiful. The food was amazing. If you are thinking about coming to the Peloponnese, there are direct flights to the city of Kalamata from some major hubs around Europe. Alternatively, you can fly into Athens, and it's about a 2-hour drive until you reach the start of the Peloponnese region. If you do plan to come to the Peloponnese, whether you fly into Kalamata or Athens, I really recommend renting a car. It's one of the best ways to see the most of this region. It's so beautiful, and it's not very well connected by public transportation. So a car is really your best bet. If you have a European driver's license, then you can simply rent a car without a problem. However, for Americans, Canadians, Australians, and anyone else with a driver's license from outside of Europe, you will need an international driver's permit. They're relatively easy to get. You can simply Google while you're home how to get an international driver's license. The price varies in the US, I believe, from AAA. It's about $70 US. So yeah, a bit of a price to pay, but well worth it for exploring this region, and you can have it for tons more trips around the world. So stay tuned for next week's video when I take you all around the city of Nafplio, where I was based for this trip and where I highly recommend that you visit. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.